Wait, how many billions is a sextillion?
Several thousand trillion.
What? Oh my gosh.
The family frequency. Oh, oh.
Turn into the frequency.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Family Frequency Podcast, where we tune into the rhythm of life, and the only vibration is elevation. I'm your boy FYUTCH, and I'm here with
Or a V.
Oh, she threw up the peace sign. That's so cool how you did that. Are you always gonna do that? Is that how you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. But today we have a really awesome guest. We're gonna be interviewing an astrophysicist, an author and storyteller and folklorist by the name of Dr. Moiya McTier. So the first question I want to ask you, Aura, do you know what an astrophysicist is?
Not a bit.
Okay. An astrophysicist is someone who studies the universe, basically how stars are created.
So she goes to space?
I don't think she's been to space, but I don't know. That's something you can ask her. But I would honestly say she's not an astronaut. So I don't think she's actually been to space. But do you know what a galaxy is? That's a good question to kind of start
A
at.
galaxy is a place that has planets and stars and moons.
Yeah. That's a pretty good start. So let's give Aura a little universe quiz. Do you know what planet we're on right now?
Oh, Earth.
Earth.
Of course.
Okay, yes. Do you know what galaxy our planet is in? What galaxy are we in? Do you know the name of it?
No.
It's called the Milky Way.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of that?
I did, but I never knew it was our galaxy. So we live in the whole thing?
We are one small planet in
So-
the whole galaxy.
So we like, do? And then, wow!
Exactly. So I think she's getting it. So have you ever had the Milky Way candy? Because you know it's also the name of a candy bar.
Oh, yeah. One time I had one that was like this big.
Okay. And how did you like it? Because that thing is straight nougat. I don't like it.
So good.
We obviously have different taste in candy, which is all right. Okay, so here's why I'm excited, Aura.
Yeah?
Because you love science.
I love science.
And I think it's kind of cool to literally have someone who's dedicated their life to space and things that we don't really know about. So let's talk about you and your love for science. Because sometimes when I give her screen time, a little bit of TV time, she likes to watch a little bit. Tell us about some of them science shows that you watch.
It's called Emily's Wonderland.
Ooh.
I mean, Emily's Wonder Lab.
Okay, what's Emily's Wonder Lab about?
So it's like they use different science things, and one time they did like this cauldron, and they made it explode, and they made it. They made their own tornado.
Ah, so they do weather experiments, stuff like that. I also see you watching this show called The Wildcrats.
Wildcrats. Oh yeah, it's a really fun animal show.
An animal show, you like that one? And when you were really young, you used to watch The Octonauts.
Octonauts. I still watch it.
You still watch that? Okay. What do you love about that show?
It's like a creative show. It's like it has a lot of animals, and even all the animals talk.
And I think it takes place in a specific type
It's like mostly in the ocean, and then they go like visit all around the world.
Yeah. I think you also have this book by our good friends Mindy Thomas and Guy Raz called Wow in the World. That talks about a bunch of fun facts. They gave us that book, which is really awesome. Shout out to Tinkercast. I'm a host of a podcast, Once Upon a Beat, the flagship show Wow in the World that started it all. It's all about science basically and history and all these amazing things. So give us a couple fun facts that you've learned from Wow in the World from that book.
Did you know wombats poop square-sized little mini poops?
I did not know that. I didn't know that at all. That's disgusting.
I know.
Give us another one. Give us another fact.
Did you know lemons float and limes sink?
No, I didn't. That's really interesting.
Did you know spacesuits can be like thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of dollars?
I believe that. The spacesuit is top notch. It's got all these breathing. It's got computers. It's got all kinds, like the helmet itself. It has to protect you from the super cold temperatures and the elements, atmosphere outside of our planet. So I'm sure that's like super pricey. That's like the Lamborghini of suits, basically. Maybe even more than that. You know what a Lamborghini is?
No.
We'll talk about that later. All right. So I want to tell you about a science show I grew up on.
Okay.
It was called Bill Nye the Science Guy, and that mug was the truth. You ever heard of Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Not a bit.
He was the coolest scientist in the world. He always wore a lab coat, a bow tie, and even the intro for the show was like, Bill Nye the Science Guy. And then his like head would like rotate around. It was obviously not his real head rotating around, but it was a great show. So I'm gonna have to show you that sometime. And then of course I grew up on shows on movies like Star Wars. I love Star Wars. The lightsabers, the space travel, the ships, all of that.
I'm not really a Star Wars person.
You're not a star. It be your own people. It be your own children, your own. You know, when I was 12,
Yeah.
when I turned 12, I had a birthday party with my friends, and
Yeah.
I threw a Star Wars themed birthday party. And I gave all of my friends lightsabers.
What?
And we had an epic lightsaber battle in the backyard. And we're like, vroom, vroom, vroom. Super nerdy. Super duper nerdy. If you could have a science themed birthday party, because you're going to turn 8 next year, what kind of science themed birthday party would you have?
There would be like these science tables that like 2 or 3 kids go to, and there would be like different science people that know how to make stuff explode.
So you
But
basically
in a
have
safe way, not like my house exploded. Not like that. It would be like something that go like.
got it. So like volcanoes, tornadoes,
Yeah.
in the house.
Outside,
Okay,
in
outside.
a backyard.
So
Because in the house, on carpet or on regular floor, no.
thank you. I appreciate our floors. Appreciate you. Thank you. So it sounds like you want a science fair themed birthday party. That could be
Yes.
something we think about. All right, we'll look that up. We'll do that. Let's pound on that. All right. So first thing we need to do, because this
Yeah.
is the Family Frequency Podcast, I think we need to make a song of the day. You think we can make a song up right now all about space? You think we can do it?
I don't know. I have no clue.
I believe
cannot
in you,
make up-
Aura. We can do this.
I cannot make up raps that quickly.
Yes, you can. You do it all the time. All right, let's try. Let's start with some words. What's some words about space that we can think of?
Planets,
Planets,
moons,
moons,
histories,
histories. Okay. So let's start with the word planets. Stars. All right, pick a word from that.
planets,
Planets. Planets. Planets.
planets, planets,
Planets.
planets,
Planets.
planets,
Planets.
planets,
Planets. Look up in the
planets.
sky and I see the stars. I'm seeing the planets. It's like Star Wars. I see it in the sky like a galaxy riding through space. It's my daughter and me because it's planets.
Planets,
Planets.
planets,
Planets.
planet,
Planets.
planet, planet, planet,
Planet.
planets.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was okay. It was all right. All right. I think our guest is calling in now. Let's see. You ready to talk to her?
Yeah.
Okay, she's calling in. Dr. Moiya McTier.
Hello.
What's up?
So good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome to the Family Frequency Podcast. This is baby girl Aura right here.
Or V.
Hi, Aura. That's awesome.
And we had a fun conversation in preparation for you. So I'm really excited because Aura is a science gal. I tried to define what an astrophysicist is for her.
We study everything in space, which covers, the furthest reaches of the universe. But there are also astrophysicists who study the Earth as it is like a part of space. So we really study everything.
Wow. So I first heard about you on TikTok. I think it was a video that you were talking about dark matter versus dark energy.
Yeah, that one got pretty big. And a
Okay.
lot of people think that they're the same thing, but they're totally different.
You broke it down in a way that I was able to grasp way more than I ever have. It's still out there for me. It's still up there and out there. But first, I want to go back to the beginning because you were raised in a cabin with no running water and no TV. Is it look at Aura face?
I know you
Could you
can't even imagine it, right? We didn't even have cell phone service. We had to heat our house with fire. We had a fireplace in the winter.
could you handle that, or how would you feel if I was like, girl, we moving. You see them woods behind the house? That's where we going.
I would not do it. I would not be able to do it. I would be so scared.
Scared?
What if the foxes came? What if the
Oh.
bears ate our cabin?
We didn't have bears, luckily. We had a lot of deer, though. One summer, a deer came in with a wounded leg to eat some of the peach trees on our property, and we nursed it back to health over the summer. So we had like a pet deer for a little bit.
What?
Unfortunately, we see a lot of dead deer out here.
Oh.
So maybe one day we'll nurse one back to health. You think we can do that?
I want to have the deer forever, though.
Just
And,
let it go back to the forest, Aura. Why are you trying to?
Give it a new home.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on because when I was a kid, well, first I used to want to be the first black president of the United States of America. Okay.
Same.
Oh, okay. So you feel me. But then before that, even that, I wanted to be an astronaut. Once we learn about our solar system in school and we make our little project, that's kind of it. And then life happens. Why do you think that is, that as we get older, it seems like there's sometimes for many people a little bit of a less interest in space?
I think because most of the reasons that our ancestors were super into space are irrelevant now. They used to look up at the sky to navigate and keep time and remind them of useful stories that would teach them lessons they needed to know here on Earth. Like when that constellation rises, it means that this animal on land is going to lay its eggs, so we have food. Like it was all very practical. And now we have phones that do all of that for us. We've had calendars, we've had compasses for 1,000 years. So we have less of a reason, quote unquote, to look up. And it's also harder for us to look up now. According to the Dark Sky Association, 80%, 4/5 of all places on Earth have an impeded view of the night sky because of both
Yep.
light and air pollution. So there is a physical barrier to having people get into space these days.
It's so true. And so we just moved from New York City to a suburban, rural-ish part of Maryland.
Ooh.
And this is the most stars I've seen in a long time. We're in like a new build area location and such. So the other day, do you remember I called you downstairs and I said, Aura, you gotta come outside.
Yeah, because there were so much stars, and we saw a constellation, actually.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I
which
showed you.
one?
You remember which one?
I forgot.
It was Orion's belt. It was that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have a tattoo.
Oh,
Oh!
that's
Oh
so
my
dope.
gosh.
Was that the first time you ever seen a constellation like that?
Yeah.
Aura prepared some questions in advance, and she wanted to ask you some questions. So this segment is called Aura's Questions. I might put music behind that, like a little crowd cheering and stuff. We'll see. We're still working through the logistics, but here you go. Aura.
Great.
Question 1. How many planets are there in the universe?
In the whole universe.
Yes.
That's a great question. We haven't found all of them. We've only found about 5,000 planets for sure, but that's just in our galaxy alone. So let's break it down a little bit. We
Okay.
know that in our galaxy, there are about 100 billion stars. So that's 1 and then 9 zeros.
You're making the same face.
Well, you literally just answered my question. How
Oh,
many
no,
stars
oh,
are
I'm not
there in
done.
space?
She's
I'm not done. There are
She's not
more.
done.
Oh.
So we just have 100 billion stars in our galaxy. Astronomers have figured out that on average, every star has like 2 planets to it. So that means there are hundreds of billions of planets in our galaxy. And then astronomers have figured out that there are like 100 billion galaxies in the universe. So when you do out that math, the number of planets is like 1 or like 5, followed by 22 zeros.
What?
We're still writing zeros in the air. We're just zeroing it out. Zeros.
That's the thing about space. The numbers are really big. The number for 1 followed by 22 zeros is 10 sextillion.
Okay.
Okay,
Wait,
okay.
how many billions is a sextillion?
Several thousand trillion.
What? Oh my gosh.
I
So
love
like
it.
this is the thing. Astronomers don't use the words. We just use like the number of zeros after it. We call this
Right.
scientific notation. And it's when we just
Okay.
put things in terms of exponents, because otherwise our brains would explode too. When you say like, oh, that's 4 quadrillion, that's silly. But if you say like that's 4 and then 16 zeros, then that's less hard to imagine.
So while your mind is blown, let's move on to the next question.
Do aliens actually exist? And if they exist, where do they live?
Yeah, you had to ask this question. I understand that. The community is split. My personal belief, based on, again, how many planets there are out there and how fast life appeared on Earth, I think there should be aliens. You know, if we're the only planet with life in the entire universe, that seems, the quote I like is that it's an incredible waste of space. So there probably are aliens out there, but we don't know where they are. The place in our solar system that right now has the best bet for hosting life is there are 2 moons, one around Jupiter and one around Saturn. They both have icy, like cold oceans under an ice surface. So we think that there
Wow.
could be life there, and we're actively sending spacecraft there to study them.
Wow.
Are there crystals on the moon?
Perhaps the moon is made up of the same material as Earth. It actually formed when a really big rock hit the Earth early on in its formation and knocked off a chunk. And so the moon and the Earth are very similar. So I imagine if we can form crystals here at the surface of the Earth, perhaps they can form crystals on the moon. I mean, the same physics exists there. It's just different gravity.
I thought that was an interesting question. What inspired
Yeah.
that question?
I really, really like shiny stuff.
I
Yeah.
love I love that. I was
Yes.
like, I don't know. Let's ask.
Yeah. You know, speaking of shiny things and the moon, one of the amazing but simple devices that the Apollo astronauts left on the moon was a mirror. And we've used that mirror to really accurately calculate how far the moon is away from the Earth. And because of that mirror, we've figured out that the moon is moving about 1.5 inches away from the Earth every single year.
Whoa.
We can measure it that precisely.
Okay,
Wow.
okay. I'm so amazed.
So for all you moon landing conspiracy theorists, you heard it here. Don't be anyway, that's for another time. I've asked you to put together a couple statements and we have to guess if these statements are true or false. Are you ready?
I am so ready. Are you ready?
No. Absolutely not.
Okay, I barely know anything.
But that's what makes it fun. Like you know. Okay, so let's just try. Let's do our
Okay.
best.
Okay. Question number 1. True or false? The universe is shrinking. It's getting smaller.
Okay.
Yes.
False.
You think that's true?
I think
Oh,
it's
we're
false.
split.
Yes.
Okay, it is false.
I knew that one.
So that's
I did know
1
that one.
point for Dad. We used to think that the universe was standing still, that it wasn't changing size, but then in like the 1920s, we realized that the universe is actually expanding. It's getting bigger, and not only that, it's starting to grow faster. So we call this accelerating. Yeah.
Okay. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
True or false? The sun is big for a star.
Oh, you said something about this the other day, and I didn't
Yes.
know if it was true or not.
Yes.
In terms of
Yes.
splitting, I'm gonna just say no
Okay,
because
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
so we're split again. The sun is actually pretty average in terms of size. It's like right in the middle. There are a lot of stars that are smaller than it. Actually, about 70% of stars are much
Okay.
smaller than the sun. And then as you get bigger, the stars get rarer. But when you graph the sizes, our sun is right in the middle.
So I'm right?
I
Not
think
quite.
he was right.
Not quite. I'm closer to right. Let me have my point, child. All right. Let's
Last
get it.
question. Is it true or false that all of the planets in the solar system move in the same direction around the sun?
Oh my gosh, this is a hard one.
I'll let you go first.
No.
I'm gonna
Okay.
say no as well. There's no way that rule is absolute, I would assume.
It actually is absolute. They all move in the same
What?
direction because they
Because
all
that's okay.
this I know there's a lot of counterintuitive stuff in
Yes.
astronomy. So the way planets form is that when a new star is born from a cloud of gas, there's extra material left over that didn't make it into the star. So that
Okay.
extra material forms this disk around the star that starts rotating all in the same direction. And planets form in that disk from things like snowballing and getting bigger over time. So they're all moving in the same direction, which means when planets are in retrograde, they're not actually changing their direction and moving backwards. That's just like an optical illusion because we're all moving in the same direction, but at different speeds. So when one planet kind of passes another one, it will look like the other planet is moving backwards, but really it's just because this one is moving
Ah,
faster.
my emotions are backwards during retrograde. I'll tell you that much. Well, that was fun. I
Yeah.
win. Aura's so competitive, so I can do that. Like she's super competitive.
Please
Oh,
give
good.
me a point. Please.
Hey, beg for points, not how it works.
I can give you a
So,
bonus question if you'd like
oh, you
the
want a
chance for
Yay.
another point.
bonus? Let's get it.
We have found all of the planets in the universe, true or false?
No.
Yeah, that's false.
Yeah, that's false. That's false. We've found a tiny, tiny fraction.
All right, cool.
You said it in the beginning, though.
I know. I was seeing if you'd learned. That's good teaching.
Active listener, good teacher. You see what I'm saying? Ain't she dope? Like that's what I'm saying. And I think what I love also is the storytelling aspect of your life and of your career. The fact that you're an author, a folklorist, a world builder. Are there any shows or movies that you are a particular fan of? Silo right now is really dope. I'm watching that. C was something dope. It's in terms of end of world kind of stuff.
Another show that I love and is, less violent is Stargate. That's my favorite sci-fi franchise. Have you heard of it?
Okay. I've heard of it. I don't know if I've watched it or maybe just seen part of it. Is there a movie and is it also a show
Yes.
series?
Yeah,
Okay.
there are many movies and there are like 10 seasons of a show, so there's plenty
Okay.
to sit with. But my favorite thing about it is that they remove most of the space travel element from a show about visiting other planets. And to
Okay.
me, as an astrophysicist, the times that people usually add in a lot of errors for their science fiction, it comes in the space travel, because they just don't understand how
And
things in space
I
work.
love the travel. I don't know enough about how it works. I'm just always like, give me the travel
Yes.
anyway, and I will
I know
accept it.
that's blissful, but I really love the part where they get to the planet and they get to
Yeah.
explore the cultures there.
Yeah.
Stargate, they have this thing that immediately transports them to another
Okay.
planet. So it cuts out the space travel, but they get to see all these different cultures.
Okay.
And they still deal with like some space things. Like there is a planet that they go to that's very close to a black hole. So
Okay.
time dilation is weird.
Black hole?
A black hole, yeah, like
I don't want to go to a black hole.
you shouldn't. You are nowhere close to a black hole.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yeah, we do not have to worry about them. A lot of people think that black holes just suck everything in like a vacuum, but you actually have to be like very close to a black hole for it to affect you.
What does a black hole look like?
That's a great question.
Is it like a black hole?
Yeah. I mean, the black hole itself is invisible because it absorbs all light and nothing can get out. So we can't see the black hole, but we can see everything that's around it. Like, there are lots of disks in space. So just like disks around young stars, there's a disk that forms around a black hole where it's like gathering in all of this other material.
So if you were like going in space, what if you didn't know that you were like right next to a black hole?
Oh, you would know. You would feel the effects through gravity.
Oh.
Good questions, or really, really
Very
good
good
questions. She's
questions.
engaged. She's in there.
I can
She's in there.
tell.
I like to call this segment, "What y'all know about this?" And it's something that the old heads will say in my family, whether you got an older family member or something, and there's a song that they generation needs to know to understand what they've been missing out on. So I would like to know,
Ooh.
what's your song you want to add to that playlist of, or what you know about this?
Or what you know about John Denver?
Oh,
I don't even know John Denver.
this is why this segment is here. Tell
Mm-hmm.
the youngin, please.
I'm gonna submit Annie's song by John Denver. It's very personal to me. This is the song
Okay.
that my mom used to sing to me to help me fall asleep. And
Oh,
so it is, a song I return to. It's very sweet. It goes like, "You fill up my senses like a night in the forest." And it's just
yeah.
very like lullaby-y and it's soothing. And I think more people need to know about Annie's song.
We will listen to that immediately after this because it took me a second to remember till you started singing it. I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. Annie's
Yeah.
song. Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I'm not going classic, like country roads, although John Denver really cooked with that one, but no, I'm going Annie's song.
I love that. So we need to go on a whole John Denver exploration, is what you're telling me. Because
Yep.
you like, this is
Yeah.
what you don't know about this, Future. Okay, all right.
Hmm.
I see you. Well, I would like to thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on here. I'm still working my way through your book about the Milky Way that you wrote from the perspective of the Milky Way, or we've talked about personification and this whole thing
Mm,
about autobiography and stuff. So I love it. I really, really love it.
thank you.
I like to end it with words of wisdom. I like to ask every guest, share some life advice with us, but it can only be in 3 words.
3 words. Yes, I thought about this.
Okay.
Um, and my 3 words are going to be imagine beyond yourself.
That's a whole album. That's a song. You might get some writing credit on that. I might have to. I
Do
love
I
that.
do I get to explain?
Yes, please. So
Okay.
sorry. You know, you got to
So
take it in
beyond
for a second.
beyond the 3 words, imagine beyond yourself is kind of like what I did when I was writing a book from the Milky Way's perspective. It means forcing yourself to zoom out from your limited worldview and think about what other people's point of view might be and what like the universe's point of view might be and think about bigger time and space scales, and that is imagining beyond yourself.
Reminds me of like the universe is in us. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We are. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I don't. I was just saying yeah, but
You'll get there.
I
You'll
don't
see
get
it.
it.
But thank you, Dr. McTier. I really appreciate you coming on the Family Frequency podcast. I look forward to checking out more of what you have because I'm glad I caught you when I did. I know you're just going to continue to rise and do amazing and great things and be someone that reminds us why we need to still have this fascination for the universe that is still sustaining us, you know? Or
Yeah, absolutely.
you have any final words, any thank yous, anything you want to say?
I just really want to thank you for coming on this podcast with us.
Oh, thank you, Aura. It was my pleasure. You asked amazing questions. I
You
was I
did.
love the way your brain works.
Thanks.
All right, yo. Peace out. Wow, Aura, I don't know about you, but my brain is like struggling with so much new information of the world and the universe. What about you?
My brain is like out of this world.
Oh, that's so genius. That's so good. You did do a really great job in asking questions. And does that make you want to be a little more of a scientist now?
Because I want to study like how black holes were formed and like
Okay.
how they can catch up people.
Oh, look, we don't want to be people in a black hole. I think you're going to have to study the black hole from the outside. This is The Mind of a Child. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the Family Frequency, where we tune into the rhythm of life and our vibration is elevation. Once again, I'm your host, FYUTCH, and I'm here with my daughter.
Or a V.
And we always going to send you out with love and light. Let's do our outro. Peace, love, shabam. You all right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sorry.
FYUTCH. Hello, Future.